Hello and welcome to today's Silver Lining Laughter. How are you today, Miss Karen?
Hello, I'm fine. Thank you. How you doing?
Good. Good. Are you ready to dive into some heavy topics today?
Uh-oh. How heavy?
Not that heavy, not that heavy, not
Okay.
like bring out the tissues heavy.
No, that's fine. Even if it was, hit me up. I'm ready for anything.
Okay. So we've talked in one of our past episodes how we both really like to keep trying new things, always challenging
Yes.
ourselves, staying busy. So I've been trying to figure out where that comes from. So I want to ask you a specific question.
Okay.
And do you have any like hidden passions, dreams, desires, like from either when you were a child or now? Like, and where I'm trying to go with this is, do you feel like professionally, do you feel like you're living the life that you're supposed to live?
Um, I don't know if I'm living I guess I'm living the life I'm supposed to live because if I wasn't, I'd probably be doing something else.
Like,
Um, I don't know. I mean, I always wonder, my dad died when I was really young, and I always wondered what it would be like if he was still alive, how that would have changed the course of my life.
right.
Um, would I have stayed at University of North Texas in college? Would I have gone there at all to begin with? Would I be working for his company now? I don't know. I think about that, there's a movie called Sliding Doors, and the woman, and I think it's Gwyneth Paltrow or Cameron Diaz, one of them, get off the subway train one morning and something bad happens, and then they replay it and something not bad happens. And then it takes her through both storylines of what would have
Uh-huh.
happened. And I think about that a lot, about what would have happened if my dad was alive or if things would have gone differently. Um, but so I guess I never really thought about what I would like if this is the life I'm supposed to be living. But I am pretty happy with it. I'm not. Um, I used to not be, as you know, and we've talked about in past communications and podcasts, we've talked about that. But I think for now, I'm happy. I don't know about any passions or anything that I wanted to do. I know when I was younger, I really wanted to be in the Coast Guard. Like that was, uh,
Really?
I always wanted to be in the Coast Guard. I don't know why I didn't take that route, but I always wanted to be in the Coast Guard.
Okay, so I'm starting to put some pieces together.
Okay.
So, because I feel that you and I, of everybody that I know,
Mhm.
we always have a really solid career
Yes.
course.
Yep.
However, we both have a lot of additional passions or we try different
Yes.
things, right?
Yep.
Like we're doing this podcast, folks. Hey, but
Yep.
and
Yeah.
so when you mentioned the Coast Guard, then
Yes.
I started thinking about when you were a fireman. Like,
Yeah.
was that because there was a untapped Coast Guard
Um,
dream, possibly?
I don't know. I that that being part of the DeKalb County Fire Rescue was one of the most biggest adrenaline rush I've ever had. Um, I just actually, funny you bring this one up. There was an accident at the end of my street probably 2 months ago, and I heard the crash, and my neighbors texted, and they're like, "Hey, what was that?" And I was like, "It sounded like a crash," and it was raining. Well, I went out to see what it was, and it was a huge crash right at the end of the street, and it was raining. So I came back to the house, grabbed some umbrellas, grabbed my safety vest, went back out, and started, making sure everybody was all right because I'm kind of trained to do that. So
So you've got a
waited.
safety vest on deck. I just want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
pause there for a second. Everybody
yes.
realize what you just said. Just
Yes. Well, when
grab the
you
safety
go to DeKalb County Fire
vest.
Rescue, you get a full uniform and a backpack full of safety stuff. So I had that vest, and so I was directing traffic probably for 2 hours, and that's all I did. I helped the cops. The cops were like, "You got this." I'm like, "Yep." And they're like, are you an officer? I said, no, I'm DCFR. And they're like, okay, then you keep doing that. So, and such a rush, like such a rush. And then, plus on Friday, I was on the way somewhere, and I got in trouble by a couple people about this. But it just, the adrenaline hit, and I was on 285, and I was in the left lane, and this Penske truck was in front of me, and there was a red Acura to the right of us, and the Penske truck turned on its blinker, ran into the Acura, like clipped his mirror, whole front end was, and kept going.
Oh,
And so I
wow.
looked at the guy in the Acura. I was like, "You all right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And the Penske truck took off. I went after the Penske truck, went up next to him, told him to pull over, said, "Pull over." He's like, "No." I was like, "Pull over." And then I kind of got in front of him, slowed him down, and then he pulled over. And about 2 miles later, um, he pulled over, and we called the cops and everything. And there's something about I've never thought about it before, but now that you mentioned it, there is something about that adrenaline and helping people and doing the right things. Many people have told me I should quit my job and become a firefighter or a police officer, and I wouldn't mind that, but I think a firefighter would be more appropriate for me, just because I did DCFR. But I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it's because my dad was a firefighter and I get those same adrenaline rushes that my dad did. But Coast Guard, I would love to be one of those divers who jump out of planes and rescue ships that have capsized and stuff and rescue people. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so I was trying to piece together, is the adrenaline rush. Yes, firemen definitely have it. And I understand. And my grandfather was a fireman, my dad was a fire chief, my brother was a fireman, my uncle, like it goes on, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I have had zero desire to be a fireman of any sort and have that adrenaline rush, because that doesn't really give me an adrenaline rush. So I
Right.
think that, I mean, I guess it would, but it'd probably be
Well,
more of a panic.
well, what does give you an adrenaline
Well,
rush?
I'll get there, but I'm still on
Okay.
you.
Okay.
So I'm thinking there's more of yours comes from more of a desire of helping someone.
Yeah.
And so that's probably the passion. And is
Yeah.
it an adrenaline rush you're feeling, or is it more of a matched passion?
It's a good question. I don't know, because I do love helping people. I mean, even when it comes down to a delivery guy, like I got ordered food a couple weeks ago. I gave him cash tip, and he's like, "Oh, thank you so much. You know, this is the only way I make my money is tips, and some people don't tip delivery guys." And so I
Hmm.
gave him extra money. Like, to me, $5 wasn't extra, 5 extra bucks. I usually tip 20, 25%, but $5 to me wasn't that big of a deal when you have this 18-year-old kid trying to make good money. So I'm just always, I also had to change my name. Karen from the internet. I don't want to be the one calling your manager and complaining about the dogs and complaining about kids and all that. So I think I'm just trying to change the Karen name one
Oh,
incident at a
you're really
time.
trying to overcompensate for the Karen name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not many people, and I'm sure you have heard that wasn't a smart idea about pulling over the Penske truck.
Correct. That was
However,
not. I've heard many of, yes,
I'm
that
not
was,
going to give you a lecture on it because you don't need a lecture.
no.
Your goal was to look out for the person that was hit in the
Correct.
Acura. It had nothing to do with this Penske truck driver could
Correct.
possibly shoot you, and you probably could have been just as helpful by to capture a picture of his license plate
Correct.
and
He
help the
didn't have a
Acura
license
driver.
plate.
What?
The license plate was on the front of the truck. So once we pulled over, and the guy pulled over, the Acura pulled over, the truck driver got out and he was cussing at me, asking why I was part of this and blah blah blah. And then I walked up front and took license plate and took a picture of the license plate, and
So he was
cops.
cussing you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Luckily he was not armed. I mean, he had arms, but he didn't have any guns. Um, so the cops came, and that was that.
Okay. So yeah, your homework assignment
Okay.
is to think about that.
Okay.
Like the adrenaline versus the passion. And if you feel that there's something in your life that you're meant to do that may or may not align with like your current job, your current either professionally or
Okay.
in addition to, right? I'm not saying
Yep.
you got to quit your job and go join, be a
Coast
fireman
Guard.
tomorrow, but you might
Yeah.
want to. I mean, I don't know.
And, not every 35-year-old can join the, the Coast Guard.
It's a
Uh,
little harder to get into the Coast Guard
it
when
is.
you're over 35, but you
Yeah.
got this. It could be
I
done.
got it.
You got it. So, you asked me about my passion, and I've got some different ones. So I've been spending some time kind of researching back, thinking about early childhood, what I used to, and I always wanted to be like a movie star. I and I was moving to Hollywood. I was going to be
Yes.
famous. I
Yep.
even told my mom I wasn't going to send her 1 red cent, only because that's a penny, by the way. But I was so young, I didn't even know a penny was called a penny, but I knew I
Right.
was going to be a movie star. And
Got it.
then I used to write songs and like sing in the driveway and just
Yep.
like always entertaining people, trying to make, bring a smile or whatever.
Yep.
So it, I get a little bit of a chance to do that at work sometimes. Uh, but I don't know what it is exactly, but like I have this inner voice and it gets louder and louder and louder to the point of I can't ignore it other than it's not clear enough to give me a
Got it.
direction that I have to go in, but
Right.
it's like keeping me up at night. Like I know I'm I don't want to say like I'm here to do something or to do more, but I just don't fully know what that is. Now, I have started writing a book,
Okay.
finished the intro and 2 chapters already.
All right. Very good.
It's called Bravely Leading When You're Too Scared to Move.
Okay.
So it kind of talks about career path, even before career, things you learn in your life that you can bring to your career.
Yep.
First chapter is going back to college, and it even gives interview skills and
Wow.
steps into that. But, I find that almost my adrenaline rush comes when I'm working on that. Like I'll get
Okay.
up some mornings, Saturday morning, when I would love to sleep late. Like I love to sleep in when I can,
Right.
but I
Right.
can't because it's like this book is almost coming to me at night in my dreams. Like I will
Yep.
get up at 6 a.m. and go start writing.
Then that's a passion. And then maybe that's what the voice is leading you to do is get this book out and share your word and share the passions you have with other people.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just interesting. So that's what I was trying to, I guess, find out if I was crazy or not. Like,
No,
do other people have an internal yearning for more? They know that I'm here for something else. I'm here for more. I just don't know exactly what.
I think a lot of people have that, and I think that they have that. Some people have that aha moment, as people say. It's like, oh, and then I woke up and I was like, and this is what I was meant to do. And when I was directing traffic, as simple as that is, or within DCFR, or chasing down people on 285, I that makes me happy because I don't think there's a calling for me to change my career or anything like that. But I think that if I'm put in the right place at the right time, then my calling is on individual situation basis. And if I can help, I will. And I think maybe that's where you're coming from is your adrenaline is coming from a different place, but it's still calling you to write this book and to share your story and to help other people find their passion.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think you. I do think you're crazy, but I don't think you're crazy because of this.
Okay, there's other reasons
Yeah.
that I
Yes.
think we're crazy. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I mean, nothing like that deep,
Right.
but it gets that loud and it gets that deep sometimes. So
Right.
I always try to think of, okay, well, if it's writing a book that I think could help other people, or if it's being on stage and entertaining someone, what little aspects of that could I incorporate into my
Right.
current job? And this is really funny. Um, I suffer from anxiety
Mhm.
off and on. Sometimes it's worse than others. But as much as I like entertaining, I never know, like at a big meeting or a big conference call, when I'm going to be anxious and when I'm not.
Right.
And it's usually worse if I'm like delivering a message I don't believe in
Well, yeah,
or
that's
just
understandable.
going through the motion of something.
Right. Right. I think you when you're talking about something that you believe in and you're passionate, I think it tends to come out a lot easier than if you're talking about something that you don't believe in or you don't have that passion about. And I think that is what promotes the anxiety. Like you don't know
Yeah.
what to do, you don't know what path you're on, you know. I mean that I can totally see how that is anxiety ridden.
Yeah. I find that funny because it's like, okay, as much as you want to entertain, sometimes you get up in front of the group and like your heart starts to race or your voice starts to shake. Now I've got lots of coping mechanisms to deal with
Right.
that and to get on. Like I'm never gonna not present or sit down or something. Like I
Right.
might faint, but I'm gonna keep going. Like I'm gonna keep going. And generally, once I get through the first minute or
Right.
so,
Yep.
then I'll find my groove no matter what
Yep.
I'm talking about or
Yep.
presenting.
That
Um,
I do know that about you. You are quite the you're quite the speaker. You are quite entertaining. I I think you're one of the most. I mean, like I mean, we used to work together, and when we were in meetings, sometimes they didn't go so well. We would talk about clusters of grapes, and
yeah, that's
um,
not my fault.
yeah. Uh, but I think you when you're leading a conference like that or a meeting like that, then you definitely have a passion for it. You can tell it comes out.
Yeah. So anyway, your homework is to dive more into your passions and your adrenaline rush, and I'll kind of do the same, and then we
Yep.
can kind of keep
And
tracking that
yeah,
topic and
yeah,
um
absolutely. Now,
see
if
what
you
hopefully my
had
voice
to,
doesn't get so loud you like find me move to California.
I mean, we could still
Or
do a
maybe it does,
podcast
who
from
knows?
there. Yeah, maybe you do. Um, you usually ask me the last question, but I'm going to ask you the last question this time.
Okay.
If someone came to you, young person, and they're like, look, I really have a passion for this. I really, but I don't know what I should do. I don't, what's the advice or piece of information that you would give them to follow their passion?
I really have a passion for this and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I wish I had more details here, but because I don't, I'm just going to go with the story. And you know what I'm going to tell them? I'm going to tell them you follow your passion.
Mhm.
Everything else will come. It'll
Right.
all work out in the end. Like I am big into follow your dreams, follow your
Yep.
passion. You got to be smart about it.
Hmm.
And you have to think of ways that if you don't make money at your current passion, what are ways that you can make money at it? And can you make enough money at it to sustain yourself? And if you can't, then you're going to have to get a job and follow your passion at the same time, which is
Right.
may or may not be ideal depending on are you trying to go and join a
Right.
rock band and tour the country like
Right.
but I just feel that so many people start their careers or get put in a role or a job in order to be financially secure.
Mhm.
but at the same time, their heart's not in it, or their heart
Right.
has left and moved on to other things.
Right.
So I say, always follow your passion.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Well,
Is that
then
good?
if that's the case, I'm going to quit tomorrow and I'm going to become a firefighter.
Okay, just think about, you just got a new pool. You need to make sure that what you
Yeah.
choose to do is going to be
Yeah.
able to keep you. If, okay, you're, here's what I would ask you if
Okay.
you really wanted to do that. How comfortable would you be with starting over from zero?
Not very comfortable at all.
Okay, then,
And
in,
I think that's why I did DeKalb County Fire Rescue, and that's why I help when I can, because I can have the best of both worlds. I can live comfortably, and I can, I mean, I'm not rich by any means, but I can pay my bills, and um, then I can do all these other things on the side that don't pay anything, but still give me the joy that it brings to help people or help situations, or you know put on that vest at the last minute and go direct traffic for 2.5 hours. I mean, it's just little things like that that I love it.
yeah, 2.5 hours seems like a really long time of
In the
directing
rain.
traffic
Yeah.
in the rain, or
But
when it's like 95 out, right? So,
right. Yeah, but yeah, that's it.
okay, well, you want to play our little game with our
Sure.
rapid fire questions,
Sure. Yes.
also known a little off the top. Now,
Yep.
remember, you can't spend too much time
Not
thinking
spending
about
too
these.
much
We're just
time.
gonna bam, bam, bam.
Yep.
Okay. If you could travel to any year in a time machine, what year would you choose and why?
I would probably choose back in 1985, only so I could say goodbye to my dad. I wouldn't try and change anything. I would just want some time to say, because I didn't. He was in a coma, and then he was in an induced coma, and then he died while he was in the induced coma. So I would just like to say goodbye to my dad, or tell him, what a little bit more about what's going on. Now, if it was in the future, I wouldn't. I no idea. I just want to travel back.
Okay. Yeah, as soon as I was asking you the question out loud, I had a feeling we were
Yeah.
gonna go back to
Yeah.
say goodbye to your dad. Um, ooh, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
I would
That's really
change
tougher than it
that
sounds.
is very tough. I would probably change my I don't want to say ambition, but I feel like sometimes I like working out when I work out. I like, I
Oh
like
yeah,
doing.
you got that 9-hour workout videotape
I got
where
the,
you
you know, I
dance on
like
the treadmill.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But I think I would like to be more motivated to actually do it. Like I do everything, every morning I do yoga. I might do a quick workout, but I would like to do more of that on a daily basis. I would like to have more passion about that. Not passion, but more um more, what's it called when you discipline. I would like to have more discipline on being more active and healthy, and yeah, more discipline. I would change my discipline on working out and stuff, because I really feel great when I work out. But working out, to start
But
to
you're
work
still
out,
pretty good at it.
I am.
I
But
mean, most people that would want to change that and be more disciplined, they're like the people that never work out.
yeah, well, I
Like
mean,
me.
I could change my confidence. I would change my confidence, but I have been changing that. So I think I'm in the progress of that. I'm in the process of setting more boundaries and sticking to my boundaries. So that's all good. So I think if I could, I would be more disciplined on working out, because I would love, love, love to do the Ninja Warrior thing. Oh my God, how badass would
Oh,
that be?
Hey, maybe that can be your new passion.
Okay, well then maybe we'll see if I can find some discipline to start doing that.
Yeah,
That would
and
be
when you join
badass.
the
Wouldn't it be
Coast Guard,
cool?
you'll really start getting in shape.
That's right.
Yep. All right. What's one of the most fun childhood memories you have?
I would say there's two of them that stick out. One is every Sunday when I lived in Stone Mountain, I must have been 8 years old or so. My parents and the neighbors' kids would all have Sunday brunch, and my dad would cook omelets and everything. And so they were getting into it. We all there's must have been like 4 or 5 different families in the back, and we brought all the picnic tables out and we had brunch. And then the all the dads got into a water fight, and one person ran into my house thinking that my dad wouldn't take the hose into the house, but he did. He took the hose right into the house and was just so. My dad won that water fight, and then the other one is uh, my my dad used to be, he had his own boat propeller shop business up at Lake Lanier, and he would take us fishing. But when he went fishing, we'd leave at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was, again 6, 8, 10 years old, and when he took me, we would get in the front of his truck and he would just pick me up and put me in, and my head would be on his lap. And I just remember sleeping until we got to the lake. But I always smelled his coffee. I don't drink coffee, but I've always loved the smell of coffee. And when I smell coffee like that, I think of my dad and laying in his lap sleeping until we got to the lake.
This is not my last question, but I have to kind of ask this. Do you not drink coffee because you don't like coffee?
I've never really liked coffee, although I always asked dad for a cup, like a sip. I was 8 or 10 years old, just asking for a sip, and it was okay. But I don't like coffee. I've never drank coffee. I've never had a cup of coffee.
Not
Um,
even flavored coffee like French vanilla, hazelnut?
and since 2016, I haven't drank caffeine, so I don't even drink caffeine anymore.
Thank goodness, because I can't imagine you on caffeine. Woo! No. Well, and I guess I was asking because I started thinking, does it remind you of your dad so much you tend not to like it?
Oh,
Like you like it because it's like you like the smell because you remember the smell, but you more associate the taste of it is what it tasted like to you as a child.
I don't know. I just don't think I ever really liked coffee.
Okay. All right. So last question for
Okay.
you. What's your favorite movie to watch over and over?
Under the Tuscan Sun, hands down, without a doubt. I must have seen it. And I'm not even joking. I've probably seen it 35, 40 times. Um, it's got Diane Lane in it.
Oh, I
It's
know it very well.
a
But I
very
mean, everybody else might not. So,
right, a very uplifting. It's about a woman who is a writer, and she goes through a divorce and she loses most everything, and she goes on this trip that her best friends send her on, and it's to Italy. And out of the blue, she buys a villa in Tuscany, and it's just a really uplifting, happy, real kind of movie, And when I moved out of this place, when I moved into this place, my house, it was the first movie I put on. And as I was unpacking, when I got the lake house, it was the first movie that I put on. It's just been it's a very uplifting and inspiring movie for me. So I could probably recite the entire thing word for word.
wow. Well, you may or may not remember this. The first time I saw that movie was with you at your house in Sandy Springs,
Yep,
and I was going through a divorce,
yep,
and
that's
I've
right.
loved that movie ever since. Now, I haven't been a faithful watcher and continued to revisit the movie, but I have seen it like since more recently,
Yep,
and I could watch it again over
yep,
and over. Like, and Italy is like top of my bucket list, and I
yep,
know it's all because of that movie.
yep.
Like,
It is a fantastic movie. I just think there's part of it where she says, I just, what am I doing buying this villa in Tuscany? I wanted to have a wedding here, and I wanted to have a baby here, and I wanted to have, cook dinners on Sunday evenings. And all that takes place in different ways than a normal family, or you would think, it
Yes.
it happens in a way that isn't what she thought or what she planned. And
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah, like she has the wedding, but I think it's not hers, right? And then somebody there has a baby. Like it's just like I have literal chills right now just thinking
Yep,
about that movie. Like
yep. And it's
maybe the air just
model,
came on in my office, but no, I'm just
it's she ends up cooking every Sunday for the guys who are working on her house, and she becomes their family, and it's just, I'll probably watch it tonight now. Thank you very much.
yeah, I'm probably going to watch it pretty soon myself.
Great movie.
Yeah. So that's all that I have for you today. But
Well, been a pleasure as usual. I can't wait for our next one.
yeah, looking forward to it. But don't forget to do your homework.
Nope, I won't.
All right.
All
Thanks
right.
for watching.
And again, if anybody has any questions or has any comments, they can follow us and like us, and ask us, reach out to us. Ask us.
Absolutely. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.
Bye.